You might picture midnight in the president's house, April 1803. Thomas Jefferson stares at maps spread across his mahogany desk, candlelight flickering. The French Empire controls the Mississippi River completely. America suffocates between the Atlantic Ocean and enemy territory. Tonight, everything changes. You stand at New Orleans Harbor this spring morning. French soldiers patrol the docks with loaded muskets. American farmers watch their grain rot in warehouses. One river controls the continent's entire fate. Whoever owns the Mississippi owns America's future. The tension suffocates. Napoleon Bonaparte paces his palace at St. Cloud outside Paris. Sugar plantation slaves revolt viciously in Haiti, killing French soldiers. British warships circle France's coastline menacingly. Louisiana bleeds money and men daily. The emperor needs cash immediately. Tomorrow, this colony becomes worthless. Jefferson faces his deepest nightmare tonight. The Constitution nowhere mentions purchasing foreign territory. His Republican principles absolutely forbid expanding executive power beyond written limits. Yet, opportunity knocks only once. Does the philosopher betray his sacred beliefs to save his fragile nation? Robert Livingston arrives in Paris, March of 1803, exhausted. For 2 frustrating years, he begged France to sell New Orleans alone. Napoleon ignored every desperate letter. Today, French Foreign Minister Talleyrand summons him urgently to his office. Something fundamental changed overnight. "How much for all of Louisiana?" Talleyrand asks casually, studying his fingernails. Livingston freezes mid-breath. He expected negotiations for one small city. Instead, France offers half the continent. The question hangs between them like gunpowder smoke. Time stops. Look at the map carefully. Louisiana stretches from New Orleans northward to Canada, from the Mississippi River westward to the Rocky Mountains. 828,000 square miles of rivers, prairies, mountains, nations. Nobody knows what actually lives there. James Monroe races across the Atlantic Ocean, carrying presidential orders. Jefferson sent him to offer $10 million for New Orleans alone. He carries letters of credit, diplomatic instructions, presidential authority. But Napoleon moves faster than sailing ships ever could. The race matters. Livingston sits alone in his Paris apartment that night. Napoleon wants $15 million for everything immediately. Monroe hasn't arrived yet. Communications take months crossing the ocean. The deal expires in days. Should he exceed his orders and risk impeachment for treason? Napoleon's brothers protest loudly in the council chamber. Louisiana belongs to France's empire forever. Selling it violates treaties with Spain explicitly. The Council of State refuses approval unanimously, but the emperor needs money before Britain attacks again. He decides alone. I watched Napoleon silence his cabinet with one gesture. "I renounce Louisiana," he declared firmly. "The English will take it anyway through war. Better Americans than British enemies." His hand swept across the map. France's American dream ended instantly, forever. Monroe finally reaches Paris on April 12th, travel-worn and anxious. Livingston greets him with shocking, unexpected news. "We can buy the whole territory for $15 million. Monroe reads the offer twice carefully. Neither diplomat breathes. History waits impatiently. The Americans face their impossible choice now. Accept immediately and exceed their authority completely. Refuse and lose everything to British invasion soon. No time for Jefferson's approval letter. No constitutional authority exists anywhere. History waits for their decision." April 30th, 1803. 3 men sign a treaty in Paris at noon. $15 million total. 828,000 square miles of wilderness. 4 cents per acre. The Louisiana Purchase becomes real. The world shifts fundamentally beneath their feet. You stand at a crossroads in history today. This moment doubles America's size instantly overnight. But here's the secret nobody mentions. Nobody actually knows what they bought. No surveys exist anywhere. Boundaries remain completely undefined. Jefferson purchased mystery itself. Jefferson receives the news in July, 3 months later. His hands tremble reading Livingston's dispatch at breakfast. Everything he wanted achieved, everything he feared philosophically. The Constitution remains silent on this matter. His strict interpretation philosophy crumbles. Now comes his reckoning. Cabinet meetings grow intensely tense throughout August. Treasury Secretary Gallatin calculates the astronomical costs carefully. Secretary of State Madison drafts constitutional justifications desperately. Jefferson writes proposed amendments, then burns them all. Speed matters more than principles now. The decision stands. Federalist newspapers explode with righteous rage immediately. "Presidential tyranny!" they scream in bold headlines. Where does the Constitution permit this expansion? Alexander Hamilton himself admits grudging admiration privately. "Jefferson outdid us all completely," he mutters to friends bitterly. Picture the Senate chamber, October 1803. Debate rages for weeks without resolution. Federalists demand constitutional amendments before approval. Republicans defend executive power they once condemned passionately. Hypocrisy fills the room like thick perfume. Everyone knows it. Senator Pickering from Massachusetts stands, face reddening. "We buy wilderness inhabited by savages ignorant of civilization. We assume French debts carelessly. We import foreign people who know nothing of liberty." His voice echoes through marble halls. Applause follows. I cast my Senate vote that autumn day nervously. 24 for approval, 7 against. The Louisiana Purchase became law, officially. We abandoned principle for opportunity completely. History would judge whether wisdom or madness prevailed that day. I still wonder. Nobody mentions the people already living there for centuries. French Creoles in New Orleans, Spanish settlers along the Mississippi, dozens of native nations. They wake up American without consent or warning. Their worlds shatter overnight. Nobody asks permission. Francois Leclerc owns a sugar plantation below New Orleans for 40 years. He served French law faithfully. Now, American officials arrive speaking English exclusively. His property rights, his language, his culture, all suddenly foreign overnight. He feels lost completely. The Osage Nation controls the Missouri River Territory completely. Chief Pawhuska knows nothing of this distant sale. His people hunted these lands for centuries before Columbus. White men in distant cities sold what they never owned. He learns later, Jefferson plans exploration immediately, writing urgent letters. Meriwether Lewis and William Clark receive secret orders personally. Map the territory accurately. Find navigable rivers to the Pacific. Catalog plants, animals, tribes meticulously. Discover what America actually bought blindly. You're in the core of discovery, May 1804. 45 men paddle up the Missouri River against the current. Grizzly bears, uncharted mountains, suspicious tribes await ahead. Jefferson's gamble must yield knowledge or disaster. Survival seems uncertain. The expedition encounters the Mandan villages in winter. Northern plains. Indians watch these strange Americans struggle westward stubbornly. Sasagawea joins as interpreter and guide. Her knowledge matters more than Jefferson's inaccurate maps. Survival requires native wisdom exclusively. Lewis writes in his journal every night by firelight. New species of birds, unknown rivers, mountain ranges stretching endlessly west beyond imagination. Each page proves Jefferson bought far more than he imagined possible. Discovery continues daily. Meanwhile, New Orleans transforms overnight into chaos. American Governor William Claiborne arrives December 1803 speaking no French. Creoles speak no English whatsoever. Mutual contempt breeds immediate violent conflict. The occupation begins. Local merchants riot when Americans impose new unexpected taxes. "We are French citizens forever," they shout angrily in the streets. Claiborne sends troops with bayonets. Blood stains the Place d'Armes cobblestones. The transition proves violent and bitter. The real cost emerges slowly over time. $15 million equals billions in modern currency today. America borrows from British banks to buy French territory, ironically. Irony tastes bitter here. Independence requires European money still. Treasury Secretary Gallatin creates bonds to finance the massive purchase. American credit hangs by threads currently. If the economy collapses suddenly, Jefferson faces immediate impeachment. Every payment to France risks national bankruptcy. The gamble continues. But look deeper at Napoleon's reasoning here. He received reports from Haiti weekly, all devastating. Slave revolt leader Toussaint Louverture destroyed French armies completely. Without Haiti, Louisiana became indefensible ultimately. Black resistance changed continental borders permanently. 50,000 French soldiers died in Haiti fighting for slavery's preservation. Their deaths bankrupted Napoleon's American ambitions completely. The Louisiana Purchase happened because enslaved people refused submission courageously. History connects unexpectedly. Freedom spreads. Jefferson himself owns hundreds of slaves at Monticello currently. He purchases Louisiana partly to expand slavery westward profitably. His words promise liberty. His actions spread bondage. Contradiction defines the man completely. He knows it. Picture enslaved families in Virginia hearing the news fearfully. Louisiana means fresh land for cotton plantations. Fresh land means separation forever. Children sold south. Husbands from wives. Jefferson's opportunity becomes their nightmare. Nobody asks them. The Missouri Compromise looms ahead in the future. Free states against slave states. Louisiana's vast territory will birth this crisis inevitably. Jefferson's purchase ultimately guarantees civil war. He buys future battlefields unknowingly. Blood debt accumulates. I remember my grandfather's words clearly. Jefferson traded principles for land greedily. He violated the Constitution to double America. Does the end justify the means? His question haunts me still today. I have no answer. Spain protests furiously through diplomatic channels. Louisiana belonged to them first originally. Napoleon promised never to sell it explicitly. International law means nothing now. American possession makes the treaty irreversible permanently. Spain loses. Spanish officials in Texas panic immediately. Americans now press their borders aggressively. Florida remains Spanish for now. For how long, though? The Louisiana Purchase begins. American expansionism, relentlessly. Manifest destiny gestates here. Native leaders watch American settlements spread like disease. The Purchase Treaty promises to respect tribal sovereignty officially. Empty words. Within decades, forced removal begins brutally. Andrew Jackson enforces Jefferson's legacy violently. The Mandan people welcomed Lewis and Clark warmly, sharing food. 30 years later, smallpox destroys them completely. American diseases follow American borders inevitably. The Louisiana Purchase delivers death wrapped in commerce. Nobody warned them. Jefferson drafts instructions for Lewis with genuine scientific curiosity. Treat all tribes peacefully, record their languages and customs carefully, explain American friendship. His genuine curiosity coexists with calculated conquest. He sees no contradiction. You stand at the continental divide with Lewis today. August 1805. Mountains stretch endlessly westward beyond sight. Louisiana's western boundary remains unknown completely. Jefferson bought land stretching to imagination's limit. Nobody knows where it ends. Clark maps the Columbia River to the Pacific Ocean successfully. Oregon Territory lies beyond Louisiana technically, but American claims begin here forcefully. The Purchase unlocks continental ambition permanently. Ocean to ocean becomes manifest destiny. The expedition returns to St. Louis, September 1806. 2 years of discovery, journals filled with scientific observations and sketches, maps revealing commercial possibilities and routes. Jefferson's gamble vindicated through knowledge. America expands mentally first, but consider what maps cannot show accurately. Displaced peoples, destroyed ecosystems, buffalo herds numbered in millions initially. Within 1 century, nearly extinct completely. The Louisiana Purchase enables environmental catastrophe. Progress costs everything. New Orleans becomes America's second busiest port rapidly. Cotton, sugar, slaves flow through constantly like rivers. The Mississippi River carries commerce from Minnesota to the Gulf. Jefferson's strategic vision succeeds economically. Wealth flows north. French Creoles slowly accept American rule reluctantly. Their legal code survives uniquely. Their language persists stubbornly. Louisiana remains culturally distinct forever. The purchase absorbed diversity, not uniformity. America grows more complex. I walked the levees at New Orleans last year. French names on street signs, Spanish architecture everywhere visible, American flags flying above. 3 empires negotiated this corner, layers of history visible everywhere you look. Jefferson never visits Louisiana personally ever. He governs from Monticello remotely. The West remains abstract to him completely. Maps and reports suffice. Yet his desk-bound decision transforms millions of lives forever. Distance matters. The purchase costs 3 cents per acre initially. Modern calculations approach $3 per square foot today. History's greatest real estate bargain ever. But bargains have hidden costs. Someone always pays eventually. Hamilton dies in a duel, July 1804, bleeding out. He admitted Jefferson's Louisiana purchase showed political genius. His final concession? Republicans understood power better than Federalists imagined possible. He dies respecting his enemy. Jefferson leaves office in 1809 peacefully. Louisiana statehood follows in 1812. From purchase to statehood took 9 years. Democracy expanded successfully, but slavery expanded faster. The contradiction grows. You can trace America's shape to this moment exactly. Without Louisiana, would California exist? Would Texas? Would Oregon? One treaty unleashed continental destiny. April 30th remade geography permanently. Everything changes. Here's what they don't teach in schools. The Louisiana Purchase happened because Haiti fought back courageously, because Napoleon needed cash desperately, because Jefferson abandoned principles completely, because Monroe arrived late. History turns on accidents. Stand at the Jefferson Memorial today. Read his words about liberty carved in marble. Then remember, he purchased territory to expand slavery westward. Contradictions define American history completely. Heroes remain complicated. We inherit their contradictions. The purchase created 15 states eventually. Missouri, Arkansas, Iowa, Nebraska, Oklahoma, Kansas, Louisiana, Minnesota, North Dakota, South Dakota, Wyoming, Montana, Colorado, partially. Plus, disputed Texas territory. One treaty births nations. Geography transforms. Imagine Jefferson's final years at Monticello. He died bankrupt July 4th, 1826. His most successful decision came from violating his beliefs, success through contradiction, philosophy surrendered to pragmatism. He knew it. I visited Fort Clatsop recently, standing where they stood, where Lewis and Clark wintered by the Pacific. Pacific waves crash endlessly. They traveled 8,000 miles exploring Jefferson's purchase, 2 years mapping what one treaty created. April 30th, 1803, changed everything permanently. Before, America squeezed between ocean and enemy. After, continental power emerging. One document, $15 million, 828,000 square miles. The world shifts. But the real story transcends numbers completely. Native nations erased. Slavery expanded. Environment transformed. Cultures collided violently. The Louisiana Purchase unleashed forces Jefferson never controlled. Consequences exceed intentions always. History judges harshly. You inherit this complicated legacy today. America's size, wealth, and power trace back to this moment. So does westward expansion's violence. So does slavery's extension westward. History offers no simple heroes, only complicated humans. Jefferson called the Louisiana Purchase his greatest achievement proudly, perhaps. Or perhaps his greatest contradiction. The philosopher-president who violated the Constitution to double the nation. Ambition trumped ideology completely. History remembers both. Walk outside tonight. Look west. Everything you see from Mississippi to the Rockies once changed hands in Paris. 3 men signing papers altered continents forever. April 30th, 1803. America began. The experiment continues.